Hi, welcome to this video, which is all about how you will get the most from joining a live transmission and kind of what the deal is for us getting involved in this together. If you don't know what energy transmissions are, or specifically my version of energy transmissions, then go and check out the video in the About Wild Fig playlist. And there's one that's specifically about energy transmissions, so you can hear more about a bit of my journey towards to this point and what they're for, what you use them for. Specifically today, though, I want to talk about live transmissions that I'm doing here on YouTube or wherever you happen to be watching this one. And yeah, so that although I'll always nod towards this information at the start of every transmission, I want to kind of do a fuller clarifying of what I'm doing and what your responsibility is in this too. It's not a one-sided deal. So from my side of things, with these live transmissions, I'm always doing them with the intention of being good for all. So obviously it's very different from when I'm in a one-to-one private session where I can be very focused on the person in front of me and the energies can come through specifically for the person in front of me. And therefore it makes for a much more potent and much more impactful transmission, because it's just there's one unique person receiving. When I'm doing these group live transmissions, obviously that's a lot of people. And I can't, and the energies can't specifically focus on each individual. Perhaps that will come in my future, but at the minute, it's the transmission has to be appropriate for all. It has to be something which everybody's going to enjoy. The metaphor just came to mind that if it was food, for example, if I was Heston Blumenthal and I'm creating a dish which is very unusual, very out there, very wacky, then that's okay if I've got one specific person in front of me who I know loves that weird and wacky food. But if I'm going to cook for like hundreds of people, I'm going to do something that most people are going to enjoy. Like I'm going to make something which is palatable to the majority. And so it's kind of the same with this. With more people to offer a transmission to, I'm just going to be cooking a meal which is appropriate for all, because then that means everybody gets something, and everybody gets something that they can enjoy, that they can receive value from. So these are always going to be set with that intention from my perspective. And although there might be some different flavors each day, that's the general intention of the whole thing. So what that means as the recipient of it is that you can trust that you'll be entirely safe and okay with this. Like that's always the case, really. The energies will always do what is right, what is in the highest good of the person or people who are coming for it. That's always going to be the case, because that's my job to do the clearing and the clarifying within me. That means that kind of the channel is clean, if you like, the entry point is clean and absent of egoic confusions or clutter. So you can trust that they are going to be good for you, and it's really important that you have a yes to that in your heart. So don't essentially I'm saying don't trust my words, that you can trust me. So you can trust that the energies will always be in your highest good, and you have to have that knowing for yourself. Don't rely on, oh, well, Helen said I could trust her. No, you must have that check for yourself. You must have that inner check for yourself. Now, if you've received transmissions before, you'll already be familiar with this being the case, that you have to have that affirmed yes for yourself with whatever you're in and whoever you're engaging with for transmissions. If these are new to you, then you may well want to go and check out the frequently asked questions on my website. And then, so what I would normally do with a private client is I require them to email me a yes in response to those questions. Now, I don't expect you or need you to email me or comment a yes. You can if you want to, but I don't need it because for two reasons. One, the volume would be large. Two, the fact it's appropriate for all means I'm confident enough that I don't need to have your yes back. But know that your yes is still important. And your yes to joining these live transmissions is your self-affirmation of, yeah, this is the right thing for me. This feels good for me to be part of. And therefore, by watching one, by joining one, by sitting in presence with me for one, you are saying yes to it. You want to be saying yes to it and having that personal responsibility for having said yes to it. It's so, so important that that's what's going on. Fundamentally, you will get a greater impact from that space, but equally it's important that you do take that responsibility for yourself in all walks of life. But right now here we're talking about energy transmissions, and I am not responsible for you and your experience. You are responsible for that. You always have been, you always will be. But I just want to make that really clear and really explicit here today. So so with these transmissions, then as we go into the transmission, I let you know when that's happening. You can just take a moment, settle into wherever you are, take a few breaths if you want to, but it doesn't really matter. Just settle, just be quiet, just sit wherever you are. I encourage eyes closed, just because why not? It's nice to have a moment of peace and to sit as though in meditation. Don't worry about thoughts going through your mind. You don't have to be empty-minded. You don't have to be still as a statue. The energies are more powerful than any of that stuff. But just sit quietly, gently, as though in meditation, letting thoughts come and go, letting awareness of noises around you come and go. So as I say, as though in meditation, letting it all pass. I know not all types of meditation are like that, but this is the type of meditation where you're just letting all experiences flow in and out and pass through as they are naturally designed to. So that you're sitting, you're sitting quietly like that. You're sitting as though in meditation like that with me. And just notice anything unusual that you notice. People often notice a tingling in their head, sometimes just a general aliveness over the body. You might notice in the days or hours or days afterwards, feeling more loving, more calm, more peaceful. You might also, after that, discover some difficulty or some challenge. Less likely with one of these live ones, because as I say, they're a much more socially acceptable version, if you like. They're a much more that palatable dish. You know, they're much gentler, they're much less impactful, much less powerful. They have to be in order to suit the masses. So the experience of bliss and therefore the experience of conditioning unraveling tends to be less, but who knows? Who knows? The primary thing is that whatever you experience is what you experience. Just notice it, just notice it, just notice it. There's nothing to do with it. There's nothing to change. There's no right and wrong. There's no, oh, I should be experiencing that and I'm not. No, whatever you're experiencing is what you're experiencing. Don't dismiss that. Don't deny that. Just let it be as it is. Just going to check if there's anything else I specifically wanted to say to you. Yeah, perhaps just the last thing I'll say is that my transmissions are silent. So sometimes people do guided transmissions. Sometimes people do silent ones. I don't know, perhaps some people do a mixture. My ones are silent. So there's nothing that I'm going to say until the point at which I say, okay, we're done. And we come to a close. And at that closing point, if you can sit for a little bit of time, 15 minutes, maybe more, maybe less, it's not essential. But if you can, then it's really nice to take the opportunity and just let everything settle in, let everything soak in while you're in that lovely quiet space. So I think that's everything I wanted to say. So if you're watching this, not having done a transmission with me yet, having listened to all this, you might already have a yes. Any questions, go to the frequently asked questions on my website, which I will link below this video. If you want to know more about transmissions generally, as I said at the start, you can go and watch the video in the About Wild Fig, which I'll also link below. And yeah, I think that's it. So make sure that you've got all your questions answered. Make sure you've clarified it all enough for yourself that you can come to these with a yes, a strong yes that is yours, not because I've said, not because someone else has said, not for any other reason, just that it's your yes. And if you've got that, then I look forward to seeing you on the transmissions. Lots of love.